Hey guys, what's up? It's Drew here. Quick video blog. I wanted to give a video blog today about the science of staying motivated, the science of ambition, the science of growth, and pretty much, what kind of mindset that you need to have to be able to not only grow, but to maintain the motivation that's necessary to grow, to maintain the humility that's necessary to grow and learn, to maintain the attitude that which you still have humility, but you still have enough imagination to see yourself growing. Okay. So I have to say, when I was coming up and when I was starting out, I was faced with a lot of difficulties. My father was a very overbearing guy. He's a very successful guy. And he did give some wisdom and he did give some insight, but he was also very, very much so controlling, and it got to the point where my father and I eventually had a falling out as I got older. We had many falling outs when I was younger, but we had a falling out as I got older. And, I pretty much had to go and live in a box. And what I mean by that box is I had to live, in terrible conditions. I mean, conditions where there was crackheads everywhere, people pissing on floors. I had to live in poverty basically, and I did. I had to. I once had to work with mobsters. I was once a general manager for Frank Lucas, transitioning people from the street life over to legit businesses. I tried several different careers, several different jobs that failed. Several different jobs that formed the basis for my first successful company. Several different jobs that formed the basis of my skills for my first successful company. And honestly, if I have to say one of the most important things that helped me along this path, besides God, because God is the main thing that helped me along this path, God pretty much protected me. I didn't have to answer to anyone or submit to anyone except God. He gave me a fearlessness and he gave me a purpose in what I was pursuing. But beyond that, not beyond, besides, because there's nothing beyond God. Besides that, one of the most important things that I think is important for children to understand today, for young people to understand, is that you need to put yourself in a state of total accountability. Total accountability. And I'm stressing this because that seems to be lacking in today's society. You see a lot of people, they get so caught up in this internet world and this fantasy world of things that's not real. I'm standing on the terrace of my penthouse right now. In the garage below, I have an i8 BMW convertible, a Roadster. I have an S550 V8. I'm living pretty good, but there was a point in time when it wasn't always like this. There's a point in time where I wasn't always living like this, but now I am. Now, through those transitions and to the point of getting here and going to where I'm going next, I have had accountability. You have to be able to look yourself in the mirror. You have to be able to say things to yourself. You have to be able to understand truth from fiction. You need to be able to look at yourself and say, oh, look, although I have all these, followers and likes on Twitter and whatnot. See, this is where I differ from Gary Vee and I don't stress social media. And the reason why is because not everybody can be a social media juggernaut. Not everybody can have millions of followers. If you want to have millions of followers and you want to have you have to have a reason for people following you. And sometimes, what Gary Vee does not say is that sometimes not every company and not every business that you engage in is gonna have followers. Not every business that you engage in needs that kind of outreach. Not every business that you engage in requires that. There are plenty of successful people who don't have a large following and who are not celebrities necessarily. They're well known and they're notable, but they're not exactly celebrities. There are hedge fund managers out there. There are people who own construction companies. There are people who own investment companies that you'll never know about. And you'll never know another way to success because all you see are celebrities and all you see are social media influencers. And you think that that's the only way, but it's not. In real life, You know, if you see people who are successful, they come from varying degrees and varying different backgrounds. You can be successful in many different fields. You just have to decide, you know, very decisively what you want. Do you want glamour? Do you want attention? Do you want followers on social media? Or do you want true success? Do you want to follow your calling? Do you want to be popular? Or do you want to follow your calling and be where you're supposed to be in service to humanity, the way that you're supposed to do it, the way that God gifted you with your abilities? Because I can tell you right now, if you're operating out of the range of your abilities, you might have some success, but you won't have as much success as you could have had if you had followed your destiny. You need to know and you need to discover yourself enough to find out what your skill set is, what you're good at, what your calling is, and follow that. That is one of the key principles. Don't get caught up in all this, you know, fleeting stuff because you see, you know, Mrs. Instagram, you know, who posts her booty on Instagram all day, and you think, oh, you know, she's popular, she's liked, she's got money. You think she does, at least, because she's got attention, you know. Or you follow Mr. Instagram, who, you know, is on the gram all the time. He's got followers, he's got likes, he's got engagement, and he seems like he's super popular, right? But half of these people, when they sign off the internet, they return the car. When I sign off the internet, I don't return the car is mine. When I come off the internet, the place is mine. I don't return it. You see what I'm saying? When I come off the internet, the companies, they don't go off the internet. The companies are mine. The companies are mine. And I'm not saying that everybody's a fraud. I'm not saying that everybody's a liar, but I'm simply saying that this culture of attracting followers and attracting an audience before you even have anything to sell, or before you even have anything of value to present, is part of what's wrong with our society today. I'm not saying that social media should be destroyed and it's the devil and it's evil and all that other stuff, but I'm simply saying that a lot of times today, people want an audience or expect an audience without having anything of value to share with that audience. That's the problem. And also, people expect their audience size to be tremendously large when sometimes the field that you're promoting or the things that you're talking about do not carry a large audience. You know, UFC, for example, Ultimate Fighting, does not carry a larger audience than boxing, or a more profitable audience than boxing. But the UFC fighter is still very skilled, you know. Another example, you know, hedge fund managers do not carry a larger audience than celebrities, but hedge fund managers make more money than celebrities. And they have the added piece of not being famous, not having to put themselves out there to make that money. You know, so it's important to look at life in proportion to what your calling is. It's important to look at things in proportion to what your skill set is. And it's important to develop yourself and to develop your skill set, to work on your strengths and also work on your weaknesses as well. And that is the message I would probably send to people who are young and to people who are trying to become successful, because I was once that person. And the journey hasn't even stopped for me. Like, I don't think that I have reached this level of success where I need to just stop. There's plenty of levels to go to. There's plenty of levels to grow to. The only difference is that, you know, when I was younger and I didn't have, I'm 35 now, but when I was younger and when I was not really familiar with success, I thought money only by itself meant success. I thought, you know, even relationships by themselves meant success. I thought all these things meant success when they really don't. And now, before I desire anything, before I go after anything, I ask myself what the condition of my heart is. What is the condition of my spirit? Okay, I lead with the spiritual growth, and then everything else follows. I grow physically, I grow mentally, I grow spiritually. All these things have to be in line so that you can achieve your destiny. And the key word is your destiny, not somebody else's destiny. Your destiny. It might not be your destiny to be super famous. It might not be your destiny to be super rich either. But I can tell you this, if God has put a certain gift in you, and if God has put a certain calling in you, regardless of the money that it pays, regardless of the wealth that you gain from it, regardless of the recognition that you get from it, it will fulfill you if you embrace that calling. That's the key. The key is fulfillment. The key is being wholesome. The key is working on yourself as a total individual. on the physical, the mental, and the spiritual part, and going towards your calling and asking God to do his will. Now, some of you don't believe in God. Some of you don't have that anchor. Some of you just believe in, yourself. You're a humanist or whatever you believe in. Maybe you believe in Buddhism or whatnot. I'm not here to tell you what to believe in. I believe in God, and God has been my anchor, and he's been my compass. He's shown me the way. But I'm simply saying that before you even get into the spiritual realm, at least on the physical and the mental realm, one of the most important things to have is accountability. Operate in truth. Stop faking. Stop pretending. Stop pretending to be something that you're not. You're only harming yourself. When you delude yourself into thinking that you're something that you're not, you delude yourself into thinking you're more powerful and you're more richer than you really are. You never take the time to actually learn things to get to those destinations. You never take the time to actually put in the effort and the work to gain the experiences necessary to take you to those realistic destinations. And you miss out and you cheat yourself. Don't do it. Don't do it. If you're a young person watching this video, don't do it. Don't do it. It doesn't matter how many, there's people online who don't have a pot to piss in, and they sign on online, they say something snarky and something clever, and they get 40 to 100 likes on it, and because of that, they've already filled their dopamine receptors with all that stuff. Because of that, they go to bed with a smile on their face, content, right? Until they need their fix the next day. Meanwhile, real life is passing them by. So they get all this attention online, they get all this attention on social media, but they're afraid to come out of their house. Why are they afraid to come out of their house? Because they don't want anybody to see how much of a colossal failure they are in real life. They don't want anybody to notice that. They want people to think that they're really and truly the popular guy that they see on social media. They're afraid to come out of their house. They're afraid, They're afraid. They're afraid that people are going to see that the car is not real. They're afraid that people are going to see that the house is not real. They're afraid that people are going to see all the bling bling is not real. I don't have that fear. Everything that you see me with, everything that you see me in is mine. And unless I upgraded, unless I sold it for whatever reason, then it wouldn't be with me. But for the most part, when you see me online with something, it's mine. I'm not going to post a car that I don't own. I'm not going to post a place that I don't own. I'm not gonna stunt online with things that aren't mine, that I haven't achieved, because I know the damage it does. Because then you start getting celebrated for things that you didn't even achieve, and then that becomes your thing. Now you start doing it more and more because you realize you can get the attention without actually achieving the goal. Don't fall into that trap. This sounds like old school, and I'm sure many of you young people are gonna watch this and you're gonna be like, okay, boomer. I'm not a boomer. I'm an older millennial. I'm 35 years old. At the end of the day, the wisdom that I gained from boomers and Gen Xers, solid wisdom. If you don't want to follow it, that's on you. But these things uphold whether you want to follow them or not. A lot of the things that I'm talking about, it's like timeless wisdom. It carries forth no matter what time you are in, no matter what century you're in, as long as you're living in a free country and you have, relatively a free economy where you can grow yourself and you can self-actualize, these principles carry forth. So all I'm saying is this: be authentic, be about your purpose and not about popularity. Be about your calling and not be and don't be a caricature. Be about something real, something of substance. I can wake up every single day, I can tell you exactly what my businesses do. I can wake up every single day and I can provide that service for my clients. That is something real. That is something real. That is something real. Having a social media account and having all this digital support with nothing to actually present of value, it's pointless. I don't get it. I personally don't get it. I mean, I saw the beginning of social media to where it is now, and I'm just, to me, it's just something of low value. For you, it might be something of high value, depending on what your calling is. But keywords, depending on what your calling is. And I leave you guys with that. Peace.